Shalom, everyone, and welcome to From Pain to Passion, Purpose, and Power with yours truly, Dee Dee Cooper. I feel like it's been an eternity since I've been with you, but it's always good to share what the Most High has given us to share with you. This is the day that the Most High has made. This is still the day. And I'm hoping that you are yet rejoicing and that you're yet glad to be in this day. I hope that your week is off to a great start and that you're anticipating supernatural and wonderful, miraculous, powerful things from the Most High on this week. He blesses an expectant people, those that have their hope in Him, those that are really in anticipation of the Most High really showing Himself strong and mighty on your behalf. I pray that that is your anticipation for this week. It most certainly is mine. I'm really anticipating some great things from Yahweh on this week. I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to the channel From Pain to Passion, Purpose, and Power. And for those of you who have not done so as of yet, please subscribe to the channel and invite those that you know who will be blessed by this platform to do the same, to subscribe to the channel also. Feel free to give us a like, give us a thumbs up, and to share the videos on your social media platforms as well to get the word out about what the Most High is doing as we all are on this journey called life, and we are all ascending from one plateau to the next, from places of pain or discouragement or angst or whatever you may be feeling that's holding you back, ascending from that place, moving on to develop a passion, a fervent passion and love for Yahweh as we continue on to walk out our purpose in Him with power from on high, power, that dunamis power via the Ruach HaKodesh, who is the Holy Spirit, and the authority that Yahweh has given us through Yeshua. This is such a phenomenal time for us to be a believer, and for those of us who are really anticipating walking and fulfilling our purpose in the Most High, because He has given all of us a purpose and a destiny. And I sure do hope and pray that you are really anticipating moving forward in the things of Yahweh. Now, we are on a journey, as I first stated, and I state in every video that I do. We're on this journey called life. Life is a journey. We have peaks, we have valleys, and we have those times in between, but it's a journey nonetheless. But the good thing about it is that the Most High has set us on a course, and that He is the one that fashions and establishes our goings. He is the one that orders our steps in Him. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I started a series on forgiveness because remember, we've been talking about things that will hinder us from ascending from that place of pain to walking in power and in victory. And there are certain things that will hinder you and hinder us from growing and from ascending and progressing in the Most High. And we've been, by the Ruach HaKodesh, identifying some of the things that will keep us grounded. We dealt with knowing who you are, the real you, the you that the Most High has formed and fashioned. You, your personality, embracing who you are and loving who you are. We dealt with self-esteem because depending on where you are on the spectrum of self-esteem, this can hinder you from walking or moving forward and upward in the things of Yah. If you have low self-esteem, if you have inflated self-esteem, these are things that can hinder you. The word of Yah tells us over in Hebrews chapter 12, the first verse, that we are to lay aside every weight and every sin that doth so easily beset us. We have to lay these things aside so that as the Most High by His love shows us these things and reveals to us these things via His Ruach, His Spirit, then it is up to us to take those things off, to make our load light so that we can climb and that we can run the race with patience, looking unto Yeshua, who is the author, the originator, and the finisher of our faith. Now, the Amplified, interestingly enough, Hebrews 12:1, it says that we are supposed to lay aside every unnecessary weight. These are things that many of us embrace and hold on to that are unnecessary. They are not productive, and they are hindering you from moving forward. They're unnecessary. These are things that we can put off, we can take off so that we can run and that we're light. If you notice, we just had the Summer Olympics in Tokyo. And if you notice, runners, sprinters, they don't wear a whole lot of clothing. They don't wear a whole lot of garments, because those garments weigh them down and it keeps them from flowing and moving freely to complete the race that is before them. Well, it's the same thing in your daily walk. There are weights and there are things that are unnecessary that we must put off if we are going to progress in life. And this is what this platform is all about. So one of the things that will hinder us from progressing, and this is huge, is unforgiveness. So I began a series of teachings on the forgiveness factor. That's the name of the series, the forgiveness factor. And we're going to explore forgiveness, what it is not. What does it really mean to forgive someone? What does it mean to forgive and forget? Can you forgive and forget? So we're going to tackle these issues so that we can move forward. But today, as I was preparing for the discussion on today, the Ruach HaKodesh, Yahweh loves us so much. And he kind of interrupted my study there. And he says, I want you to encourage everyone. I want you to offer a word of encouragement to the people on today. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to encourage you. We're living people, beloved. We're in some very uncertain times. I mean, if you look around and if you watch the news, or even if you just step outside, there are so many things that are coming upon us in just life that could discourage you if you let it. I mean, if you turn on the news, we see this COVID pandemic. The Apostle Paul wrote over in 2 Timothy, the 3rd chapter, verses 1-5. He says, now in the last days, he says, perilous times will come. Perilous, troublesome times will come in the last days. And he began to identify some of the factors that go into making these times perilous. And I encourage you to read those verses in 2 Timothy chapter 3. But now in the Amplified, this is 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 1, the Apostle Paul says, this know that in the last days perilous times shall come. And in the Amplified it says, but understand this, that in the last days dangerous times of great stress and trouble will come. Difficult days that will be hard to bear. Can anyone attest that we are in those times, these perilous times that the Apostle Paul wrote about hundreds and hundreds of years ago? We are in those times. You're looking around, you see this pandemic that the whole world has been dealing with now for almost 2 years. Unprecedented things that are happening. And now, if the COVID is not bad enough, we have new variants, this Delta variant that is out here. And now we have another variant that's coming upon the scene, the Lambda variant. All of these things that are coming upon us. They're encouraging, more and more people to take the vaccination. That's a personal choice. I'm not going to tell you to do it or not to do it. That's up to you. But we're confronted with so many difficult, it seems like, times. Yeshua told us over in the 24th chapter of Matthew, he says, to his disciples, he began to discuss with them events that will be coming to signify the end of the age. And if you read Matthew chapter 24, verses 4 through 5, the first thing that he says, take heed that no man deceive you. So deception, he says, will be prevalent during the end times. Deception. He says, many will come and says, I am the Mashiach, or I am the Mashiach, I am the Messiah, I am Christ. And he says, be on the lookout for these things. These things are signals to tell you that the end is near. Verse 6, he says, there will be wars and rumors of wars. If you look at the news, you see nation against nation. All eyes now are on Taiwan. China is talking about invading Taiwan and threatening other neighboring countries not to get involved, or else they would take nuclear action against them. Our own president, Joe Biden, said that we are in almost an imminent war with Russia. That war with Russia is almost imminent. Nation rising up against nation. These are perilous, trying, and could be very dangerous and stressful times. Murders, robberies, rapes, shootings, all types of evil and wickedness in the world that is going on. And it's to the degree that if you're really, really sensitive, even if you walk outside, you can feel like an undercurrent outside. The word talks about famines. Yeshua talks about how there will be famines, and we can see this today. Food shortages. I remember when this pandemic really became prevalent, you would go into the market and the shelves would be bare. Your daily necessary toiletries and needs bare. Yeshua warned about this. Perilous times, pestilences, he warned about this. You see the invasion of locusts on the continent of Africa. Rats invading Australia in astronomical numbers. Murder hornets coming and invading the U.S. Things that are happening at an unprecedented rate. Yeshua talks about earthquakes in diverse places. On the 28th, I believe, of just last month, a few days ago, Alaska, the coast of Alaska, experienced a magnitude 8.2 earthquake. Earthquakes in diverse places. Fires. California has the largest fire in U.S. history to this date. Hawaii has the largest fire that they have seen in over 50 years. Perilous, turbulent times upon the earth. There are millions and millions of people that are unemployed, some of which has not even received their first unemployment stipend since the beginning of the pandemic. Unprecedented times. Heard on the news just the other day that the federal government has expanded the eviction moratorium. Hundreds of thousands of people fearing the loss of their homes. Unprecedented times. Job losses due to the pandemic. And now people are being threatened that if you don't take the vaccination, you can actually lose your job and your benefits. Business is closing at a record number. But if you read in Matthew, the 24th chapter, the 8th verse, Yeshua said, even though all of these things are happening to signify and to let us know that the end is near, he says this is only the beginning of sorrows. It's just the beginning. There are more things that are coming upon the earth. Now, the topic, I said that this is a word of encouragement, so I don't want anyone cringing right now. This is a word of encouragement to you today, because the topic today is no fear. No fear. The just shall live by his faith. Our trust has to be rooted and grounded in Yahweh, the Most High. Trust in Yah, Isaiah says in the 26th chapter, for in him is everlasting strength. He says, but thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on him, because we trust in him. And so I'm going to just give you some word. Just going to read some scriptures to you. Because the word says in the 107th Psalm, it says, I sent my word to heal you and to deliver you out of all of your destructions. So I want you to take heart and not to lose hope on today. Yeshua, he's in you. He is the hope of glory. Hold on to hope. Don't lose faith. The word says that we walk by faith and not by what we see in the natural. When Yeshua returns, he says, shall I find faith in the earth? Now, Hebrews, the 13th chapter, verses 5 and 6, it reads, it says, let your conversation or your lifestyle be without covetousness during this time. This isn't the time to enter into covetousness where you're wishing or longing for something that belongs to someone else. For he hath said, who hath said? Yahweh says, I will never leave you, nor will I forsake you, so that we may boldly say, Yahweh is my helper, and I will not fear what man shall do unto me. Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 8, it says, and Yahweh, the Most High, he it is that doth go before you. He has already gone before us, beloved. He is Yahuwah Nisi. He's our banner. He's gone before us already. It says, he will be with thee. He will not fail you. He will not fail us. He will not forsake you or forget about you. Fear not, neither be dismayed. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care how dire your situation may be. Don't fear. He is with you. Isaiah 41 and 10 says, fear thou not, for I am with thee. He says, be not dismayed. Don't be distraught, for I am your Elohim. I will strengthen thee. Yea, I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee. I will bear you up. I will hold you up. I will sustain you. I will preserve you. I will guard you. I will keep you with the right hand of my righteousness. Yahweh says. 1 Peter 5 and 7, he says, casting all of your care upon him. Why? Because he cares for you. He cares for us. He will not allow us to be overtaken. Matthew 28, verse 20, and this is Yeshua speaking. He says, teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I commanded you. And lo, I am with you, he says, even until the end of the age, the end of the world, he says. Psalm 55 and 22. It says, cast your burden upon Yahweh. Cast your burden upon Yahuwah, and he shall sustain you. He will never allow the righteous to be moved. Oh, take comfort, beloved. 2 Timothy 1 and 7, very familiar. He says, Yah has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. This is what the Most High has given us. Isaiah 43:2, and this is out of the Amplified, and I like the Amplified because it breaks the scripture down in our vernacular, today's vernacular and vocabulary, so that the word becomes more digestible and it's easier to understand, rather than the Elizabethan English that's in the King James Version. So this is the Amplified right here. It says, when you pass through the waters, I will be with you, Yahweh says. And through the rivers, they will not overwhelm you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be scorched, nor will the flame burn you. Why is that? Because he is with you. Greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. Psalm 46:1-2, and this is one of my favorites. He says, Yahweh is your refuge and your strength. He is a very present help in the time of trouble. Therefore will we not fear, though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be cast in the midst of the sea. And then if you go down to verse 10, he says, be still and know that I am Yah, and I will be exalted among the heathen, and I will be exalted in the earth. Take comfort, beloved. No fear. No fear. Now, before we close out today, I'm just here a few minutes with you on today to encourage you. I want to read Psalm 61. And I'll be reading this out of the King James Version, verses 1-4. And it says, hear my cry, Yahweh, and attend unto my prayer. In other words, hear me, Yahweh. Listen to me when I cry out unto you. He says, from the end of the earth will I cry unto you. The psalmist writes, he says, when my soul, when my heart is overwhelmed, when you feel as though life is overwhelming and that you can't take any more, the psalmist says that at that point, lead me to the rock that is higher than I. Who is that rock? Yeshua is. He is that rock. For thou hast been a shelter for me and a strong tower from the enemy. You're my buckler, my shield, the psalmist says. He says, I will abide in thy tabernacle forever, and I will trust in the covert of thy wing, O Yahweh. And then the next psalm I'm going to read is a very familiar psalm. But can we ever exhaust the word of Yah? No, we can't. And that is the 91st Psalm. And I want you to take comfort today and be of good cheer, be of good courage on today, because the Most High is with you. And the psalmist wrote, he says, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Now here you have the psalmist, Psalm 61, talk about abiding under the covert of his wings. And then here we have the psalmist again saying that if you abide in the secret place of the Most High, under the shadow of the Almighty, he says, I will say of Yahuwah, I will say of Yahweh, he is my refuge. He is my resting place. He is my dwelling place. He is my fortress. He is my Elohim, and in him will I trust. Why? Because surely, which means without fail, he shall deliver me from the snare of the fowler, any traps that have been laid for you. Yahweh says, I will deliver them from the snare of the fowler. I will deliver you from the snare of the fowler. His light, his word is a light and a lamp. His word enlightens and gives clarity and understanding, but that lamp lightens the way so that you can see the path in which you are walking. He says he will deliver you from the noisome pestilence. Remember the pestilences I was telling you about? Well, the Most High says that when you're abiding under the shadow of the Almighty, and when you're hidden in that secret place, that you are hidden from the noisome pestilence. He says that you shall not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flies by day, nor for the pestilence that walks in the darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth in the noonday. He says 1,000 shall fall at thy side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Yeah, the pestilences, the COVID, the wars, the rumors of wars, the earthquakes in diverse places. When you trust in Yahweh, he will preserve and keep and sustain you. It will not come nigh you. Why? Because your trust is in Yahuwah. Your faith is in Yahuwah. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked, those that are plotting and planning evil against you. They have their reward. He says, because thou hast made Yahweh, who is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation, there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh your dwelling. I don't care what it looks like, seems like, feels like. It will not come nigh you. For he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep you in all your ways, and they will bear thee up in their hands, lest you dash your foot against the stone. He says, and you shall tread upon the lion and the adder, the young lion and the dragon. You shall trample underfoot. Yeshua says over in the 10th chapter of Luke that he's given us power and authority to tread over serpents. Hallelujah. He's given us power over all of the power of the enemy. And he says that nothing by no means shall hurt you. We are covered. We are abiding under the shadow of the Almighty. You don't have to fear today. Fear is of the enemy. Cast not away, therefore, your confidence in Yahweh, for it does have great recompense of reward. He is with you. Most High gave me a song, and we sing it at our ministry, No Fear. And it's taken from the 23rd Psalm and also the 27th Psalm. And it's just a simple melody. Now, I usually don't sing on when I'm speaking with you, but the song is very simple. And every time you feel like you're about to get overwhelmed, you pull this video up and just start singing this song. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no evil. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no evil. No fear, no fear, no fear. Yah is with me, Yah is with me, no fear. You be blessed. Next week, we will resume, Yah's willing, unless the Ruach HaKodesh takes us in a different direction, we'll resume talking about the forgiveness factor. But until then, I pray that the Most High, his countenance will shine upon you, that his favor and his grace goes before you, and that he envelops you in his love, and that you experience his supernatural power this week. I love you, and more than anything, Yahweh loves you. Be blessed, beloved.